The shopping mall. Why, after church or school, everyone drops by the mall. It's a veritable cornucopia with a little something for everybody. Why spend the day driving store after store after store, when all you need is a one-stop shop for the entire family? Dozens of fine establishments lined up for your convenience and pleasure.
In the 1950s, this was a revolutionary business model. Urbanization and more cars meant that going shopping was a drag, and frankly, more trouble than it was worth. But the shopping mall remedied this by making shopping more convenient and more fun than ever. It turned shopping from a chore to a family outing, a hangout spot, a date, an experience. And they must have been doing something right, because these small malls, well, they grew right up. The peak of these consumerism Goliaths was in the 1970s and 80s, where malls became more than a shopping center. They took on a life of their own, whole ecosystems, entire worlds really. Theaters, restaurants, businesses, bustling and brimming with life. Oh, and let's not forget the holidays. Oh, the holidays were a wonderful, chaotic sight to behold. The iconic mall Santa, the stores donned a new festive look, and people flocked in droves and left with armfuls of bags and presents for family and friends. But of course, these things come to an end. From the 2000s onwards, malls declined. What with the internet and online shopping and later on social media shifting where people met up and bought commodities. Now many have closed down, and the survivors have had to change and adapt. And many are struggling just to stay afloat. The golden age of the mall has ended. To really sell my point, many malls are hollowed out, empty, deserted. Destroying buildings and clearing the rubble takes a lot of money, usually more than it's worth, so nobody bothers. But some malls are bought up, cleaned up, and filled with restaurants, gyms, theaters, and more profitable retail. Some are repurposed, like storage facilities and warehouses, and some are simply demolished to make way for other things. But if we're really looking to find something that's of worth, I think we should look elsewhere. You see, my parents owned a nail salon in the mall, so I spent years in one, exploring the body, the wings. I knew the stores and quarter machines like the back of my hand, and I saw the place in a different light. When the mall closed and the after hours started, the lights out, the fountains quiet, music halted. The mall has a special place in my heart, and I think so too for a lot of people. For many, the nostalgia of the mall comes from the 80s. The iconic palm trees, the neon, the glamour. Oh, and this exemplified some of the most formative years in people's lives. On the internet, many people devote time and energy to look at dead malls and to reminisce on the glory days of these once great creatures. A category of music called vaporwave, which exists pretty much exclusively on the internet, is famous for drawing on this nostalgia, and mallsoft is a popular subgenre of this. It attempts to capture the essence of muzak, or that generic music, generic mall music you heard at the beginning, and revitalize it, recontextualize it into this romanticized utopian 80s. When cyberpunk was at its prime with neon signage, futuristics, leg warmers, and hubba hubba. But what I'm really trying to drive at here is that the mall was a place of very fond memories for a lot of people, a lot of teens and young adults. And I think that people don't miss the shopping itself, but the sentiment behind it. To a time when people could spend and be merry and look to the future, when a degree meant something, when the world was a safer place, when kids didn't have to grow up quite as fast. And now with malls dying, we've been left to face the problems that have always been in front of us. So for better or for worse, and it's time to clean up after ourselves. So let's hold on to the memory of the shopping mall. But let's not get so caught up in salvaging the past that we aren't working towards the future. Thank you.